aims and the goals of the workshop, and then we will get started with all the talks. Okay, so let's go. Feel free to interrupt at any point. If you have any questions, we want this to be as interactive as possible. And otherwise, you can just put up your hand and then we will hopefully find you and you can ask a question. So this joint joint organized workshop is through CINECA and H3Africa. So what I'm going to do is just give you a brief introduction to these two projects, so you know where, the context, and talk about the aims of the workshop, and then the list of sort of organizers and speakers. So CINECA stands for Common Infrastructure for National Cohorts in Europe, Canada, and Africa. So it's a Horizon 2020 project funded by the European Union. And it was funded under the call to look at how we share human data sets. So the aim of CINECA is to address several problems, one being federated discovery of data sets, the second being how do you access those data sets securely with authorization and authentication, then obviously harmonizing the metadata and eventually the full data sets, federated analysis once you've got the access to the data, and then all doing this within a fair LC framework. So we need to, in order to do federated discovery, we're building standardized methods and portals to search, for example, using the Global Alliance for Genomics and Health, the GA4GH beacon. We're looking at standardized research IDs and how you do the handover once you've got authorization. So you've done authentication and then authorization for data sets. Looking at a common metadata model, and this will be described later, to basically harmonize across data sets. And then providing facilities to be able to move tools to the data so you can do federated analysis once you've got access to it. And then enabling all this to happen in a good, effective LC framework. So that's CINECA, and then H3Africa is part of the H3Africa Consortium. So this is stands for Human Hereditary and Health in Africa. It's a consortium funded by the NIH and the Wellcome Trust, now the African Science Foundation. And it has 48 projects, research projects, funded across 34 African countries. It's been going for just over 9 years now. It's widely distributed across Africa. And the projects are studying all sorts of diseases. So these are individual cohorts that then come together in sort of a big H3Africa cohort. So the individual cohort or research projects are studying all things from cardiovascular disease to monogenic diseases, infectious diseases, and mental health. And so they are producing up to 100,000 different getting data and biospecimens for up to about 100,000 different participants from across the African continent. So this, of course, leaves a major data challenge. And so H3Africa, which is the network that I run, and several people involved in this workshop are from H3Africa. This is the Pan-African Bioinformatics Network that manages all the data. So we have 17 countries represented and 28 partner institutions. So we're building capacity to do genomics research and data analysis on the African continent. So as part of this, we have to do a number of things in H3Africa. We need to provide the computing infrastructure, containerized workflows, and then of particular relevance here is the standardization and harmonization of the data from these different cohorts to give it added value, and then of course making all this fair and available. So I did a harmonization efforts, and we will hear a bit more about this throughout the workshop. We've developed sort of standard case report forms for core phenotypes, and then for particular modules for specific diseases, and these are all now available sort of as REDCap data dictionaries. So this is some of the stuff, and it's through this that we've sort of realized that we need to, we identified the need to do data harmonization and build the standards in the first place. So then another project that a few of us have just started is the DSI Africa Open Data Science Platform. So this is a new NIH initiative, again, focusing on Africa, enabling the harnessing of data science for health discoveries on existing data. And so there's several different projects, and then we're building this open data science platform. And in that, it's based on the Terra and Gen3 sort of open data science platforms. But in this, we have a huge component where we need to take cohorts from multiple different places with very different data types and not just clinical data, and put them together. So that's, again, another reason why we need to sort of think about data harmonization. And that's for a catalog, but also for data analysis. So the aim of this, so that's how it kind of came about, our needs from H3Barnet, from CINECA, from DSI Africa. And so the aim of this workshop is to bring people together. So it's actually quite a lot of theory and there are a lot of talks. But we hope that there'll be a lot of time for questions and discussion. So this is to really think about how other groups have looked at data harmonization, some of the common challenges they've come across, some of the standards they're using. We hope that between those talks and your experiences, we can share some of these best practices and think about how we can address any major challenges. So the intended audience has really been members of cohorts, because it's groups of people that need to harmonize data. So this could be data curators, data managers, bioinformaticians, or even the PIs of the cohorts who really want to understand how to work across cohorts better. The participants we have today for this workshop are from multiple different cohorts, and consortia. So we're really excited, and hopefully you'll be able to share, exchange ideas and your challenges and experience. So we hope that after the workshop, you'll be able to just do some basic data cleaning, understand what are the major standards and ontologies used for clinical data specifically, be able to map a cohort data set to a basic metadata model, understand approaches to harmonization of data. How do you convert data to a model? How do you convert data to the sort of minimum setups of data elements? And then GA4GH is looking at how to sort of represent summary data from cohorts. So it's a very much an introductory level workshop. So we hope that people who have vast experience don't find it too basic, but hopefully you'll hear some new stuff just from various people's experiences. It's really, as I said, it's introductory. It's not going to make you an expert, but we hope then we can then have follow-on workshops. So we'll go through sort of data cleaning, data standards, metadata standards for mapping to a minimum model, data harmonization algorithms. So the first two could apply to single or multiple cohorts, but then when you get to the harmonization, it's across multiple cohorts. Thinking about the LC considerations in bringing data from different places together. What are the storage standards when you're thinking about storing clinical data? Just to say that it's really very much focused on clinical phenotype data. We'll have, we haven't put in a huge amount of time for practicals. So it's really probably demos and a little bit of playing with some synthetic data that we've generated. And then we'll be hopefully mapping metadata from those or from your own cohorts to the International 100,000 Cohorts Consortium Atlas, which is, so this is a separate instance of it's a private instance. It's just not going to, the data's not going to be made public, just to show practically how you would map to a particular model and then be able to actually see how you can browse the data. And then once we finish this, we can consider whether, individual groups or consortia want to have follow-on bring your own data workshops. So the organizers, it's myself, Mamana, Carlos, Siru, Melanie, Catherine, Lyndon, Saskia, Vera, and Samir. So we've all been from CINECA or H3Barnet helping to put the schedule together. And also want to thank some of those who are speaking, but also the additional speakers, Aitzen, Melanie, Peter, Alexa, Sarah, and Leslie, who you'll hear from through the course of this workshop. So thank you.